Yo, 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 yo. What's up? Welcome back to the Chiss Ascendancy. Oh, frick, I did the whole thing.
You robbed me.
I'm so chill right now that I did the whole thing. Welcome back to...
Full disclosure, Josiah has not smoked weed, contrary to all appearances. I'd like to make his name clear.
Hey, man.
Even though he looks like he's wearing those half sunglasses to keep the smoke out of his eyes.
I'm doing it to keep the Rona. If you wear sunglasses...
That makes just as much sense as everything else, I guess.
Through your eyes. Yeah. Did you see that meme I posted where it's Thor from Ragnarok and it's like, you're going to catch the virus? And he's like, what if I do this?
I sent that to you.
What?
Yeah, I sent you that meme.
Oh.
Not if I do this.
I saw it on Facebook and reposted it.
Oh.
Maybe sent it before and I didn't see it. I don't know. All right, guys. Welcome back to...
The Chiss Ascendancy. We got to modify it because we're doing the chill.
Yes. Episode 25. Today, we're talking about...
We're going to be talking about one of my all-time favorite Jedi.
One of the greatest. If you can't tell by
this book that's prominently placed in the front of the display. Quinlan Vos. I guess his name is really small. Down here, Star Wars is really big. But it's a book about Quinlan Vos.
So the reason we're just super chill today is because Quinlan Vos is the chillest Jedi of all time.
He is. He's really chill. So chill, in fact, that the writers for his episodes of the Clone Wars, he's featured in the Hunt for Zero story arc because of his unique abilities. He makes him...
a good tracker.
A good tracker, a likely candidate for hunting down high fugitives. And so they literally quote the Big Lebowski for his character.
Yeah, he says...
A verbatim quote from the Big Lebowski.
That's just your opinion, man.
It's like your opinion, man.
Yeah. So, Quinlan Vos, that's what we're talking about today. Nothing really in the way of news. If you're a Thrawn fan, which if you're not by now and you're still watching this, what are you doing? The prologue for Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising, the first of the new Thrawn trilogy, kind of the prequel to the Thrawn trilogy that Timothy Zahn recently came out with. The first book's coming out September 1st, but the prologue...
The prologue's available now.
For said book is available now on StarWars.com.
Which is pretty cool.
I'm trying to hold back. I feel like we should cover it, but I also feel like I want to read it or / listen to it for the first time when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll let you know about it. We've told you, but I always like to see it all at once. I'm not a big fan of when bands they'll release an album one song at a time.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, so that's basically what this is, but literature.
It's just not chill, man. You gotta read everything at once, dog.
Not chill.
As if this episode couldn't start off more relaxed, we're recording this at 9:30 at night.
Yeah. Which is anywhere from 8 to 12 hours later than we would typically record.
They are a lot better.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Our studio audience is interrupting the tape.
That's funny.
Flag on the play there, Adam.
Party foul. So... We are talking today about Quinlan Vos.
Quinlan Vos.
And Quinlan's cool because he's classic George Lucas. His
entrance is classic George.
Classic George, which it's, hey, here's a background character sitting in a bar in this random scene, and I'm going to make him your favorite character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was just, real world, let's get real. This character in the background of the Phantom Menace,
like an extra
here for you. Yeah, he was just an extra, and I believe George, somebody had written the Quinlan Vos character already, and George appreciated the character so much that he made it law.
Well, I think what happened was Dark Horse Comics was making material between episodes 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. I can't remember. But anyway,
it'll be both.
They see this character. That's true. So they see this character, right? Mm-hmm. And they go, "Hey, here's a cool guy. what if this guy's a Jedi?
Mm-hmm.
And what if he has, Aayla Secura as his Padawan and all this stuff. So anyways, they start fleshing it out, and George takes such a shine to their building of this character. One of the cool things was Saw Gerrera was the first character ever to be a cartoon first and then put on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And Quinlan is kind of in that similar vein where he was on screen, but he became so prominent in the comics and stuff for the fans, huge fan favorite, as the prequels were being written and filmed and all that stuff, that they actually bring him into vocabulary canon, if that makes sense, in episode 3, where Obi-Wan says, Master Vos is in Ball's pity. And so it's just kind of it's one of those Georgisms where it's like, hey, here's a cool thing. You know what I mean? And we're going to make it a big deal.
Yeah. And I couldn't be more grateful. He's one of my favorite Jedis. He's a cool case study for a lot of different concepts because he's so unique in so many aspects.
Yes.
Some of the things, so we're going to talk about some of the pertinent legends. We're going to mostly stick to canon just because I guess that's what there really is to talk about now.
Right. But there's way more material in Legends.
There's way more Legends material. Simply because there's so many, I think there are like 5 or 6, let's take a look. Different.
There's a bunch.
Six different comic series.
Yeah.
About Quinlan specifically.
Those are him as the main character. There's others that I'm sure he's in there as a supporting actor or whatever, supporting role. But one of the things that's really cool about Quinlan is, in the newer books, I think actually in Plagueis, which is pre-canon, but in Plagueis, he talks about one cannot create Sith lightning without having felt the pain of Sith lightning beforehand. And
now we have an interesting chicken and egg.
What comes first?
Yeah,
right.
Who did it to the first one?
Right. So what's weird is in the comics, Quinlan has this thing where he has now this is Legends, but in the comics he has this moment that happens where his memory is wiped.
Yeah. So
like not.
Yeah, we can talk about.
I got hit on the head and I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's like on purpose memory wipe type thing.
So this is kind of an overlap with actually Bib Fortuna was involved because he was kind of at the head of the pack, or I guess he was riding people's coattails within Ryloth, within the Twi'lek culture, and he's intertwined with
which is
Hutts.
so crazy because in canon, the Twi'leks are being more and more made into be like these hero heroine type characters,
but then
and in Legends they
outliers.
Are skeevy.
Yeah. And so anyway, they drug him and make him lose all his memory, and they kind of dump him, and then I think probably the Hutts put a price on his head because at the very beginning of the comic he's trying to escape from Nar Shaddaa.
Right.
And he's got kind of a Hondo character who's a Deveronian. His name is Vilmar Krark, but he calls himself Villy. He always talks in the third person. Mm-hmm. He's a Deveronian. If you don't know what a Deveronian is, watch A New Hope, and it's the guy who looks kind of like Joe Pesci from Home Alone, and he's just sitting there like he put a whoopee cushion under Han's seat, and he's just like looking around waiting for it.
They have like reddish skin, and they have these two like basically classic devil horns kind of look. So what's crazy is, again, back into it's weird because one of the things that is beautiful about the new canon is that there's not very many contradictions. In the EU, when it's just like George is just signing for things with both hands, write it, draw it, who cares?
Nancy, I need to work on my petadexterity so I can sign 3 to 4 contracts all at once. I need my toes.
Yeah, so in those type of things, there is overlap, and there is kind of a lapse in parallelism, if you will. But Plagueis talks about you can't create Sith lightning until you felt the pain from it or the sting from it. But Quinlan Vos has this natural affinity for the dark side and is able to create lightning.
Interesting things about him is that he, in his natural state, because we see him as a Padawan, and he and Obi-Wan kind of have that interesting dynamic that they have in the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
where
very similar to
Obi-Wan's
Legends.
too uptight. Quinlan's too loose, and so they're like
They make actually a very good pair.
a very good pair because they're so different, because they have such complementary strengths.
Which is, it's very similar to, imagine Anakin and Obi-Wan grow up together instead of Obi-Wan being his master.
Right.
Very similar. Now imagine Anakin and Quinlan Vos.
No, imagine Qui-Gon as Anakin's master.
Yeah.
They'd never get any work done.
Well, I think the thing with, if they're just like shooting from the hip.
Dude.
Now imagine.
Can you imagine how many rules would be broken?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read Master and Apprentice, but Obi-Wan is constantly butthurt about how Qui-Gon's
the rules,
bending all the rules.
And then one time Qui-Gon's like, well, fine, go read a book. And Obi-Wan's like, I'm trying to loosen up, Master. But imagine if, like...
Then take this paper and wipe your butt with it.
Liam Neeson's natural accent comes out. That's so funny. Imagine a world where Qui-Gon and Quinlan Vos and Anakin Skywalker are sent on a mission together.
Oh, my God.
And 24 hours later, they're in Vegas. It's like the Hangover for Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So anyway, to get back to the central point.
By the end of that first story in this omnibus, or maybe it's the second story or whatever, there's this moment where Palpatine is like...
Palpatine's scouting him out.
You're on the board.
Replacement. Yeah.
For Dooku.
Because, especially in Legends, Quinlan was one of the foremost duelists. He's one of 3 or 4 that was a good user of what's called Vapad, which is Form 7.
Form 7, also known as the Way of the Vornsker, which is sick.
Yeah.
Deep cut there. Heir to the Empire cut. A Vornsker is an animal that hunts using the Force. Mm-hmm. So imagine a lion, or I guess more like a Black Panther, and they're hunting using the Force. And deeper cut in Heir to the Empire, Thrawn has this lizard-looking, salamander-looking thing.
I always kind of thought of it as like a sloth, the way it's described. But I guess it's reptilian?
The picture definitely, the toys and the comics and stuff make it look more reptilian.
Yeah, but I think characteristics of a sloth.
Yeah, I mean, they're so slow that their fingers grow into the branches around them.
It's pretty ballin'.
Pretty slothy.
Pretty ballin'.
But they're able to be so patient because over time they evolve, and around them there is a bubble that negates the Force.
A Force vacuum.
And so they're called
Islamari, by the way.
Yeah. So they're on this one planet called Merkur, and the Vornskers hunt using the Force, and they're the predator, and so the
Islamari have a natural adaptation to be a Force vacuum.
They've evolved
so that they can't be hunted.
To where they can't be hunted. But imagine
because the planet's covered in them.
Right.
But the planet's essentially a Force vacuum.
So the way of the Vornsker, Form 7, is basically using the Force to hunt.
Right.
So it's so funny.
It's the most aggressive.
Yeah, of all the deep cut Star Wars lore I know, I don't know why, but I just don't know any of the forms.
It was most deeply described, I feel, in Bane, in Path of Destruction especially. But it just never really stuck.
Right, so...
That spaghetti's not well done.
Yeah, so...
right off the wall.
Okay, so basically Vapad or Form 7, my preferred name is the Way of the Vornsker, but it's an aggressive thing where the light side user basically draws on the dark within themselves to augment their powers, and if there's a dark side user they're fighting, you actually siphon off their dark side to strengthen yourself. And that's why it's so dangerous, because you start to feel that oomph, that extra, or something.
Yeah, I kind of think
there's a little cocaine in my cocaine cola.
I kind of think of it to parallel Avatar The Last Airbender yet again. I think of it as redirecting lightning. You know, he's not necessarily bending the lightning, but
Iroh stuff?
Yeah, he's using the dark and channeling it.
Yeah.
You know, for
now
a purpose.
imagine there's a character by the name of Sora Bulk who is a Weequay Jedi Master, which I don't know how that vibes because Weequays are supposed to be like mentally handicapped, but he's a Jedi Master, and I think
his character was so cool.
He may have been one of Mace Windu's apprentices at a time, and that's why he learned Vapad from Mace. but the darkness corrupted him. So it's kind of like you get that little sip of cocaine cola and you can't quit it, and it just turns into a full-on heroin addiction.
You didn't even trick me. I knew exactly where that was going. He
But the
think
fans
he's
at
slick, but he's
home
not.
knew what were going on. What if I could
If you keep doing that, people are gonna think you're on heroin the way you're dressed right now.
What? I'm awake.
For now.
You look like you know what you're doing. So.
Well, you watch it enough times, you turn to pick up some tricks.
Dang. Dad's a weird guy. I'm just kidding. So anyways, he is very powerful. He's one of the only, 4 or 5 or 6 people in the history of the Jedi
It's a
Order
very small number.
who's able to learn
the
about
10,000
but
Jedi in the
also
galaxy.
really use Form 7, the
Right.
way of the Vornsker. And so anyways, he's that weird flirtation with the light and the dark. Now, let's get a little bit, before we go story-wise down the road, let's get into this whole Grey Jedi.
Yeah, so I actually
Goings-on.
recently, and it's going to come up more because we're going to talk about canon. The biggest Quinlan Vos canon material we have is right here, Dark Disciple.
Dark Disciple!
Which is a very cool book if you haven't read it. Phenomenal story.
Very good.
And it fleshes out Ventress as well, and Dooku a little bit. Some of the characters that you see a decent
We have
amount
gotten
of.
the best Dooku that we've ever gotten in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Through novels.
Yeah, for
Between
sure.
Dark Disciple and Jedi Lost and Master and Apprentice.
It's because he was such an important character in episodes 2 and 3.
Right.
But it's not explained at all.
Well, it's weird because he's in God knows how many episodes of the Clone Wars. But it's
almost representative of what an enigma he is within the Star Wars universe itself.
Yeah.
That he is just beyond comprehension for those on the outside.
Well, it's weird because he's in there so much, and think about Ahsoka. Whenever you saw her in theaters at first, you're like, oh my god, I hope she dies. Man, I hope they find this little baby hut so they get the reward. But if Ahsoka dies on the way, so be it. And but
life for a life.
By the end, of
you kind of like her
season 7, you're like, okay, well, I'm with this. You're rooting for her, except for against Maul. I'm definitely rooting for Maul 10 times out of 10. But it's like she's a huge draw within the community because that character has been so developed.
Right.
And I feel like Dooku's gotten the opposite end where it's like he's just been cast by the wayside time and time and time again by the mainstream media. And that's why these books, Dark Disciple, Dooku, Jedi Lost, and Master and Apprentice really, really, really work together for his good.
Yeah. But, it's interesting because he's such a chill guy, and that's, I would say...
Who, Dooku or
No, sorry,
Vos?
I'm getting back to Voss.
I was like,
Dooku is very
chill.
composed.
But I wouldn't say he's chill.
No. But
he wouldn't be rocking this outfit.
60% of Voss's identity is just being chill.
No, I could see Quinlan Vos wearing the exact outfit I'm wearing, driving through to get a late night munchie meal at Jack in the Box.
He's not Rail Averross. He's got some standards.
They're limited.
Yeah, but they're not like...
He would definitely
Rail
wear
Averross.
this. He'd definitely wear this and go get a late night. What's it called? A munchie meal?
Maybe.
Bro, that munchie meals are dope.
I'll never forgive them for taking away the double dia.
At Jack in the Box?
Taco Bell. Sorry. I went to Taco Bell. I think at meals at 3 a.m, I think Taco Bell.
No. Jack in the Box has the munchie meals, and you can get a double. It's a grilled cheeseburger.
Diabetes in a bun.
When does these start? Because if these are going to be rolling out, 11 o'clock?
But and they also will you
Crap.
can get mixed fries, so it can be regular and curly fries.
Well, guys,
That's
you're
the
getting
only time that they will ever
some really important information here.
They'll mix the fries?
Yeah.
Bro, when does Munchie Meal start? I'm about to go get a Munchie Meal after this, dog.
But yeah, so he's a really chill Jedi. He's a Jedi Master, which is obviously a difficult rank to attain.
Yeah, I always forget that he's a Jedi Master.
Right.
And I think part of the reason I forget that
is...
is...
through the ranks alongside Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly like he's just got a really crappy class.
Hear me out. Hot take. He's probably stronger in the Force than Obi-Wan. Raw talent.
Unleash the beast.
I don't know. Because
Obi-Wan's strength is his connection and his steadiness and his... You know what I'm saying? But Obi-Wan was under the shroud of the dark side in episodes 1 through 3 as well.
I think Obi-Wan's real strength is revealed in the fact that he was exposed to even stronger stressors than Quinlan was and did not succumb to the dark side.
Yeah, I'm saying raw power,
Right.
raw talent. Quinlan probably has the upper leg on Obi-Wan.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
To quote my favorite...
Obi-Wan's the better...
Oh my god, that was loud.
Sorry, Obi-Wan's the better Jedi. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying...
No, I get what you're saying. I just
1v1,
I don't
raw
want to make a comment
powers.
until I've had time to digest your audacious claim.
Well, come on, we're shooting the breeze here.
Apples and oranges here. You're literally comparing two completely opposite ends of the spectrum here. I get what you're saying. I have no comment.
More
at this
raw
time.
talent. Boom. Quinlan Vos. Yes or no?
It doesn't work like that.
What do you mean it doesn't work like that?
It doesn't work like that.
What doesn't work? That's what I'm asking.
I mean,
Your mind being made up?
no,
or...
I don't just make snap decisions. That's not who I am.
Okay, I guess here's what I mean.
I'm Obi-Wan here, buddy.
More raw talent. Blake
I know what you're
Griffin has
saying.
more raw talent than Giannis Antetokounmpo, but
This
Giannis has worked
analogy is
harder.
not going anywhere for me.
What do you mean?
I don't even know who the second person you said is.
You don't know who Giannis Antetokounmpo is?
That's what I said. That's what I said. I don't watch basketball, man.
Ah, God. Okay, well, whatever. I'm trying to think of other things that you would know.
Star Wars. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Well,
I
I'm trying
understand.
to give you an analogy for the other thing that you won't give me an answer on.
Making it out. I'm telling you, I understand what you're saying. I just don't have a solid
It's
opinion
okay
on
to give
it
a
at this
brash
point.
answer if you disagree. We only have an hour.
Anyway,
While you keep going, I'm looking at what time the late night munching meals start.
Anyway, for the 20th time, I'm gonna finally finish this thought. He is a very chill guy, but when he loses his memory, his natural bent is to the dark side.
9 p.m.
And Mace Windu specifically reaches out to him
I come. Yes.
when Quinlan is trying to get his grips on things, and he's really lost sight of anything that's important because he has no memories. He has psychometry, which we've mentioned in passing, but I don't think we specifically stated it, which means that he can touch
this is
an
the
object.
most important thing about his...
He can touch an object, and this ability isn't unique to a species, but the Kifar, natives of the planets Kifu and Kifex, are prone to psychometry, which means they can touch an object and they can read its history. They can see images and scenes attached to them. But when Quinlan touches his own object, i.e. his lightsaber, he sees his memories, but he has no emotional attachment to them. They're facts. They're not memories, really. And so Windu's trying to reach out to him. He's saying, hey, you are, big time exposed to the dark side. It's going to try to prey on you because he is honestly, I think he's not qualified for the Jedi Council because he's such a loose cannon, but he's one of the most powerful Jedi in the Order, which means he's one of the most powerful Jedi in... Hey, Obi-Wan is on the Council. He's on the Council
because he's a do-gooder.
Because he's a good, powerful Jedi. He is as wise as Master Yoda and as powerful as Master Windu.
Hey, that's a good answer.
But he's one of the most powerful Jedi and beings in the galaxy at this point.
Yes.
And so the dark side obviously will try to prey on that, and he's very vulnerable to that. It's just one of those interesting dynamics within this character, solely in the aspect that his natural personality is so relaxed, so laissez-faire, and when he loses his memory...
A daggum language lesson right in the middle of the podcast.
He is pulled to the dark side to the point where he has intent to murder. He's killing folks left and right. He doesn't understand the Force, but he's using it
Doesn't give
to
a
an
freak.
incredible degree.
Yeah.
And naturally channels Force lightning to the point where it actually startles his apprentice, Aayla Secura.
Right. And the thing is that it's weird because he's got that natural bent towards the dark. And I think that Mace Windu is kind of the only person who can really say, hey, you need to chill out with that. Mm-hmm. Because Mace is the one that has
who really
the
understands.
strongest connection to him on that level.
Yeah.
Because Mace kind of
I don't know if he was one of the forerunners.
I think he may have invented or perfected vape pad.
Yeah.
I know he uses it to like. I think that vape pad is one of the reasons that he was able to beat Palpatine.
You know
If
my opinion on that.
Palpatine
Yeah,
didn't let it
I
happen.
think Palpatine was pulling punches.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like I've asked you that before and you haven't given that answer.
I feel like I've said that before.
Oh. Well, I totally agree.
No, I feel like Palpatine's pulling punches. But that's not what we're here to discuss.
So here's the thing. Okay, so in Legends material, he's on Kashyyyk after Boz Pity and is attacked during Order 66 and barely survives.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually has a son with some lady. I don't remember who it is, but anyways, and he barely survives. And I think him and Kakruk escape together, and you never really hear of him again after Episode 3. Now I
was wondering if he would come up in Rebels, or if he would come up maybe even in Fallen Order when you're seeing people who are looking for surviving masters.
Yeah,
but I didn't get any.
Well, I was gonna say in canon, we don't know anything.
Yeah, we don't know what happens
behind
for him
Boz
after Episode
Pity.
3.
Except for here recently, there's a Vader comic where Vader is training the Inquisitors and they're hunting down Jocasta Nu. They're looking for Jocasta Nu because she has the knowledge of where all these
Also,
forces
we talked about this
are.
before, but she uses a gun that basically uses a lightsaber to shoot lightsaber bolts. It's freaking sick.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
It's freaking raw.
And supposedly it's like stronger than a lightsaber.
Yeah. Just think of a blaster, but it's a lightsaber blaster.
I mean, and you know what's kind of funny is I can see people getting butthurt over that, but they use Kyber for the Death Star.
Right. Well, I think it's really
Seemed to
funny
work pretty efficiently.
that it's just somewhere in like this book room.
Yeah.
You know, she's running. She's like, "Where is it? Where is it?"
Yeah, and it makes sense because like
I don't know. It just seems hilarious that such a powerful relic would.
Well, she kind of reminds me of like Dumbledore, where it's like, I dare say I have too many things.
Dumbledore would know exactly where that weapon was.
Well, what I'm saying is he has an eclectic style.
Yeah, I think of it more Gandalf, where he's rifling through books in the library at Gondor, I believe.
I'm just saying there's that one specific line where Dumbledore says, "Feel free to break my things here. I dare say I have too many."
Yeah, that's Dumbledore knowing perfectly well that he could repair those with a swipe of his wand.
You're missing the point of what I'm saying. So, in canon though, which is actually this is one of those times where canon gets the upper hand on Legends, and in that comic, he's showing the Grand Inquisitor. Either the Emperor's talking to Vader, but I think it's Vader to the Grand Inquisitor. I can't remember. And they're saying, okay, here's the list. Here's the one we're looking for, Jocasta Nu. Mm-hmm. But thank God for those Star Wars nerds out there that know their Arubesh. And they decoded the list, right? Mm-hmm. And Quinlan Vos is on the list for Jedi Masters who have not been killed. And so as of right now in canon...
You heard it here first. Quinlan Vos is the father of the child.
He's presumed alive.
He had a baby with Yaddle.
Ugh.
Oh.
Bro. I didn't do it.
Come on. He's supposed to be your favorite guy and you're just throwing him under the bus.
Hey, man. I calls him like I sees him.
Let's get back into Grey Jedi. So I get asked this all the time. What's a Grey Jedi?
Yeah.
Are Grey Jedi real? This and this and this.
Yeah.
Our friend Sean Heath / old basketball coach would be like, yeah, I'd actually be a Grey Jedi. Here's the thing. Sorry to say this, and I'm friends with people who are in a group called the Grey Jedi Brotherhood on Facebook. Okay, sue me. But Grey Jedi aren't real.
Yeah, and I think it was a cool idea, and it was allowed to live on in the Legends for a really long time.
The thing is,
when Disney bought Star Wars, they really cracked down.
But here's the thing. Even before Disney bought it, if you go on Google right now and you put in what is the Jedi Code, and it'll say there's no emotion, there's peace, there's this.
Yeah.
You look up the Sith Code, peace is a lie, there's only passion, two passions, yada yada. You look up the Great Jedi Code, and there's like 50 of them that somebody's written.
Right. Well,
there's no one definitive. This is the Great Jedi Code.
Well, I think that's indicative of the idea that they don't really answer to anyone. But you also have that character in the second Bane trilogy who's considered a Grey Jedi. He defected from the Jedi Order because he wanted to just accumulate power. He's willing to use things from the dark side, but he's not a purely dark side user.
Yeah, but you would
doesn't
call
want to
that
submit to Xana.
Yeah, but that's a dark Jedi.
Yeah, but I think that's the closest thing we have. You know what I mean?
But the thought of a gray Jedi is someone who is still within the Order.
Yeah, see, I just don't think that can exist.
I just don't think it can exist.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think you can be a force. I think it's... You know what I think? I think that what Legends people, and there's always going to be those people out there that are like, Disney screwed over Star Wars, blah, 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 blah. They put out 5 movies in the last couple of years, so I'm grateful, because that's 5 more movies than we were going to get with George.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
To quote my
here's the
favorite
thing.
new character,
We were never going to
from
get
The
Kylo
Last
Ren.
Jedi, DJ.
Maybe. So here's the thing. Gray Jedi can't exist within the Order, because the Order is strict as strict can be.
I think, one, the Jedi Code doesn't make room for it.
Right.
The second, I would say, and I think this is a great time to discuss it, because Quinlan is an excellent case study for this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since Dark Disciple is the only canon book that we have that's come out that really explores what a Jedi goes through when he dabbles in the dark side.
Yeah.
So, just bullet points. I don't want to ruin the story for anybody who might want to read it.
Hey, you've been warned. Spoiler alert. 3, 2, 1.
But
go. Cover to cover.
The essential portions of Dark Disciple is that Quinlan has been put on assignment.
This is like in the first chapter. You can just say it.
Yeah. So, he's been put on assignment essentially to assassinate Dooku. They've recognized that Dooku is... he just needs to be put down. And so...
And it's funny because the person who says this should be done is Mace Windu.
Easily the most aggressive member of the Jedi Council.
Right. A master of Vapad, the way of the Vornsker.
Oh my god.
I'm going to say that as many times as I can.
And the kicker is that he has to team up with Asajj Ventress, who they kind of sent him to find her, and he was essentially undercover as a bounty hunter. They did bounty hunting together. This is after episode 2.
Isn't there a moment
this
there...
is like late. This is what was supposed to be season 7 of Clone Wars at one
right.
point.
Isn't there a late... or isn't there a moment where she's arrested or something, and it's basically, you help us do this, we'll pardon your crimes?
I think that after he's revealed, it's later in the book.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying eventually it's
he's
kind of like...
supposed to kind of nudge her that way,
Yeah.
but then his cover's blown. Anyway, so you see Asajj training Quinlan. Cover your ears, folks. He's going to crack a can.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, he bummed it.
I like it. It's chill.
So you see Asajj Ventress training him in the ways of the dark side. And it eventually goes so far that he is no longer answerable to Jedi ideals.
Right.
That he recognizes he can't stay true Jedi and finish the mission the way that he's kind of seen fit to do it. And
right. Well,
it's much so that Dooku is even eventually able to bend him to his will.
Yeah, he goes...
He goes full dark side.
Yeah. Yeah, so much for spoilers.
Yeah, well, you said spoiler alert, so I was like...
Go for it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you're going to read the book, you're still going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But my thing with it is
it's kind of hard to make a point from the book.
Right.
Yeah.
So the thing is that for the longest time, I kept hearing rumors that Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, is going to be called The Balance of the Force, or The Will of the Force.
It looks from Episode 8 like that's the direction they were pushing.
Right. But basically, there's an ability for... I don't know, it's kind of strange. So, it is where we end up with Rey and who she is as a character, and the lessons she's learned from Luke, that Luke has learned from all the other masters, and what she's learned from Leia and Luke's journal and all that stuff, is basically more away from the pharisaical view of the Jedi from 1 through 3.
I was just going to say, I pulled out a language lesson. He's going to use a word like pharisaical. For your regular Gentile folk out there, That's a reference to the Pharisees in the Bible, and they are a heady, higher knowledge type person, higher than thou.
Yeah, they're just
There you go. Common terminology.
yeah. Well, they're the type of person who they lord it over you. They know all the rules, but there's no connection to that common man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of how the Jedi got.
Yeah, a good word would be piety.
Yeah. So, did you like that first cynical?
Yeah.
There you go. So, but Quinlan
Which is like 3 steps higher on the brow than laissez-faire.
So, yeah, that wasn't very chill of me. I apologize. So, the thing is, though, that Rey is much more towards, if you want to use the word gray, than the Jedi would have been in Episode 3. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? And I guess it's obviously a contradiction to Legends material, but you see Rey, who's never been force
who has
lightninged.
a natural bent towards lightning. And it's interesting also because I would venture to say that Rey has a stronger natural pull to the dark than Kylo Ren.
I would agree with that.
Because
they are
Kylo
yin.
keeps feeling the call to the light.
It's funny because they're dressed and they are yin and yang.
Yeah.
You know? She is white on the outside, but she's got that black dot. He's black on the outside. He's got that white dot, and he feels the call to the light. And when she's in distress...
No. Say it.
Or if you're like... Call to the light.
The call to the light.
And...
What girl? She's hot. And way younger than you, Adam Driver, you sicko. Just kidding.
Not a... Good boy!
But what would I wear?
I did not go...
Not a dress, it's a kilt!
That movie's so quotable.
Oh, The Grinch?
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Highly quotable.
I could hang myself with all the neckties I was seeing. Neckties. Get. I want a pony so I can ride it one time and turn it into glue. Man.
Let me know when you're...
Sorry, you started it.
Yeah. I'm just letting you know when you're done. Time. Where was I?
Do the do. So, I don't know. Let's just kind of talk a little about what do we...
Yeah, so we're kind of fleshing out the idea of a Grey Jedi, I guess, and why it can't exist.
Here's the thing. You can have a balanced character.
I think you can... Here's... I'll just say it. I'm gonna do it.
I don't care that you broke your arm.
I don't care that you broke your arm. I think that what happened in episodes 7 through 9 in relation to the light side of the Force is an embrace of light side ideals with a rejection of light side ideology.
Oh, that was not a chill sentence.
It wasn't, but I had to say it. So what I mean by that is...
Break it down for the common folk, as you call them.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not a classist. I don't expect anybody to know what pharisaical meant.
Go ahead.
I've got this thing on you, and I'm gonna keep
Go
beating
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Call it a dead horse.
Wow.
But it's gonna be glue. Full circle. Anyway,
Joke hour? What's going on here?
I saw an opportunity, and I went for it. But I think it's an embrace of the power of the light side, and that we choose it with shedding of the ideas that were held by the Jedi Council at the time, because they were so pious that they thought that they couldn't be toppled, right? They thought
taught.
Or that the balance of the Force... I've seen a meme where it's Thanos and he's holding that knife and he's like perfectly balanced like all things should be, and one end was 0 Sith and the other end was 10,000 Jedi.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a rejection of the Force in itself, that it's a living thing and it's in all living things, and because there's a light, there must be a dark, that one can't exist without the other. And I think they're trying to suffocate the dark without really seeing what value it gives to the light.
Well, it's interesting because in Episode 3, Palpatine says the dogmatic, narrow view of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong, because...
And it has to have been relevant enough to have struck a chord with Anakin.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, he sees through the lies of the Jedi. You've got the... Here's the thing. You've got the Jedi...
Makes me feel nice.
It makes me feel nice. That's so funny. I happen to like it when you call me Senorita.
Makes me feel nice.
Makes me feel nice. It's funny because you have the Jedi who think the dark side users bend the Force to their will and use it,
Right.
It's almost kind of like a dark is the perversion of the light, but to say that you're the only right way to do it is a perversion of the Force as well.
Right.
And so the natural order of things is more what they would call in the gray, which is you're a vessel of the Force. And that's what Qui-Gon was all about. You got to be mindful of the living Force and the cosmic Force. And if that means you disobey the council, then you disobey the council. And the council started to think, we are the will of the Force. And Qui-Gon was saying, no, the Force has a will of its own, and I'm going to follow that. And that's why I don't want to... The natural Jedi political order of things by the time the Republic was at its supposed peak by before Episode 1 is, if I'm being invited on the council, that must be the will of the Force because the Masters are so in tune. But it turns out it was much better for the galaxy as a whole for him to reject the Masters.
Right. Well, and I'm glad
to
that
continue.
You said some of the things you said because they bring up things that I wanted to mention. One of which
What's
was...
all the things you want to do?
And I appreciate that.
How pharisaical of you. Nah. Go ahead.
I am so sad, you see. Got him. So one of them is...
What a zealot.
Yoda's vision that we see in the Clone Wars, which is one of Quinlan Vos's other appearances in the Clone Wars, where he has this vision that's a fallacy, where he sees where Dooku never left the Jedi Council and everything's all hunky-dory. And Yoda's like, no, this isn't real. This is a trick. And it's part of his training through the Wills of the Fate, or what is it? Yeah, Wills of Fate.
What?
The daggum drama masks that are surrounding him.
The Wills.
Yeah, the Wills.
Just called the Wills.
The Wills. And basically Yoda has to come to grips with the idea that in order to truly be in touch with the cosmic force, he can't suppress his dark side tendencies. He can't reject them and just pretend like they don't exist.
You have to face them.
Because you have to understand that it's a part of you so that you can be in touch with the cosmic force.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The other part of that, I guess, is the idea that that's what was needed to hear the will of the Force. That's why Qui-Gon was so far ahead of anybody really in the entire Jedi Order. And it's cool because I think either Dooku or Rael in Master and Apprentice tells Qui-Gon that he has a connection to the cosmic force that may someday surpass Master Yoda, which is kind of a cool statement to make. Mm-hmm. But Qui-Gon also says something in Master and Apprentice, which I'm reading right now, by the way. And that is, he's talking to Rael Averross, which was...
Rael Averross. Doesn't mean I can't get laid.
That's what he says. And...
no, that's a chill guy.
he was Dooku's apprentice before Qui-Gon. And they're talking about why we choose the dark, why we choose the light. And Rael says something along the lines of, maybe we should choose the dark, because this is after Dooku's left the Order. He's kind of messing with the idea of it, and he's saying how maybe it's more powerful. And Qui-Gon doesn't say, he says, we don't choose the light because it's more powerful, we choose the light because it's the light.
Right.
Which is such a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where 7 through 9 really moved, was we don't, just reject the dark and suffocate it and only, perpetuate the light.
Yeah.
We choose the light because it's the light. And we embrace that side of it. We acknowledge the dark and we move forward.
Right.
But all that to say, the dark and the light, while codependent, are incompatible. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I just, especially with the way canon's laid out, I don't think that the Grey Jedi can exist.
No, it can't exist. And I think that Mace Windu's use of Vapad is the closest we're ever going to get.
Right.
Someone being able to be a Jedi and dabble in using of the dark side.
Well, and
I don't even think that Vapad is canon.
Yeah,
now.
Vapad is Legends.
So there you go with that. But so Quinlan Vos is basically, he's so cool because he is kind of, he doesn't have the strength that Kenobi has. If
not
Quinlan
the
Vos
strength of will, certainly
had
not.
the strength of will that Kenobi had, he would be the perfect Jedi.
Yeah.
Because because psychometry is kind of seen as like a taboo thing. It's kind of like I've always read, I can't name sources off the top of my head, but it's not frowned upon. Like they let him use it, but psychometry is kind of
like an invasion of privacy almost.
I don't know. It's kind of like it's similar to in Master and Apprentice. They talk about don't be so obsessed with the prophecies because that's a way to the dark side because you're using prophecies to divine the future.
Right. It's a seeking out the future. That's the problem.
And so I think it's kind of like I don't know. I've always read. I'd have to find a source, but I've always read that it's kind of like a weird thing.
Having read that.
But I think that it's not considered a dark side power, but it's considered not a super kosher thing. But Quinlan Vos is so cool because
the parcel tongue of the Force world.
Yeah, there you go. So Quinlan Vos is so cool because he dabbles in both. But the thing is, in Dark Disciple, once he goes full dark, he is able to pull on the light and resurface to the light.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because they have that kind of idea in the Legends as well that Dooku's saying you have to come be retrained, and he's dueling. Mace Windu's dueling, like practicing with what's the name of the weak white Jedi?
Sora Bulk.
Sora Bulk, and he's saying to Mace that Quinlan wasn't ready for this mission. That comic line is pretty cool because it's almost a reference to Dark Disciple where Quinlan's set to go in an undercover mission on Dathomir, which shows how he kind of works with the Night Sisters before the Dark Disciple storyline was set up. So I think that's a kind of cool reference. It's cool how they reference and reflect his relationship with Obi-Wan as well.
What material is he on Dathomir in?
That would be did I write it down? Yeah, Infinity's End is the storyline.
And it's from the Omnibus.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's the comic line called Infinity's End.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you see him there working with...
Yeah, it's very cool.
Undercover. He's, like, enslaved to the Night Sisters because...
Yeah.
He's got a schlong.
And when he...
Be subjugated, mailing.
That was pretty chill, I would say. It's interesting, though, as well, because his... whoever writes the Dark Horse stuff loves them some dinosaurs.
Yeah, they've got a really cool species that Josiah pointed out. They're called the Yin Chori.
Yes. And they're basically on Dathomir.
Oh, sorry. This is not the species I was thinking of.
Okay.
This is the Yin Chori are sentient.
These are as well.
I mean, like talking sentient, not just like you can kind of understand.
Yeah,
them.
so these
like,
have
memories.
These are called the Qua.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, I always wondered, and I had forgotten, I had read this already, but I always wondered, whenever you read about psychometry, people always talk about it being, you touch an inanimate object. I touched this microphone, so I remember past podcast, or I remember you knocking over your drink, or I remember Adam taking the first drink of this, or I remember whatever. So...
Man, Josiah has got... I got problems with you people, and you're going to hear about it.
No, but...
Festivus for the rest of us.
That's funny. R.I.P. But the interesting thing is, it also applies to sentient beings if he so chooses.
Yeah, and I kind of think of that along the lines of, again, actually this would have been in Dooku, Jedi Lost. He learns about, I think what people call beast control, but it's, I forget, it's beast control, but it's being able to basically put your mind together with an animal. And then you have something that kind of appears like that in
I've got to look this up.
Path of Destruction, where Bane tames the Rancor and he's able to read his memory in places, and that's how he actually finds the Sith Temple with Revan's relic. So I don't know if it's necessarily psychometry that does that, but
they just call it an animal bond.
Yeah, and so
it's kind of Ezra Bridger has that.
Yeah. And so Dooku was supposed to be really good at it, and I think he passed that on to Qui-Gon as well, which would explain why Obi-Wan had it in Episode 2. Comes full circle. Yeah. But anyway.
Who does Obi-Wan have it with?
You know what? Never mind. I'm thinking of Anakin
with the Reek?
Yeah.
Man, that Reek is a bad mamma jamma.
Yeah, it's pretty dope how he throws Django, but then Django's like...
I really like it whenever you see that moment in episode 2 where Anakin's like calming him, but the Reek knows something's wrong and he goes, and he shakes the whole way down.
Yeah.
That's probably how Padme felt the whole time too.
Oh my god.
What? I like you.
I think my favorite part of episode 2 is the kissing scene, but when she pulls away and the music stops really abruptly, it's like, ha! It just stops.
John Williams was like this.
John Williams is like, alright, everybody shut up!
Dude.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
There could have been... I could have done with 15 more minutes in the arena and just cut all the romance.
You sound
Personally.
like my father.
I sound like 95% of everyone else. But, yeah, man, imagine Dooku just taming beasts.
Yeah. Well, and it comes up a lot in Jedi Lost.
Yeah. But, man, Quinlan Vos, there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah,
but
and he really is such an interesting Jedi because he's really not talked about that much in the main...
Right.
But he's such a good example for so many of the conversations that are being circulated without him really being the fore of those conversations very much.
Right. I think that... Sorry, I'm looking on the Marvel app to see if you can buy this omnibus. Hey, you can.
Really? Marvel's doing it, even though... I guess Dark Horse is...
Well, Dark Horse...
the smaller. They got bought out by
They got
Marvel.
bought out by Marvel.
Yeah.
Or the rights to the Star Wars stuff got bought out. But it's you can read it on the Marvel app if you like. The Quinlan Vos Omnibus, it's just type in Quinlan Vos and it's the only thing that comes up because it's a whole collection. But it's really good. I really enjoy it. And it's probably on Comixology as well, is my guess, which is through Amazon. But, dude, so good. And this is, I mean, come on. This is how many pages? Good
it's like
God.
450, I believe.
The last
one starts at like 417.
Yeah. Dude, whoever wrote this...
The stories are really good.
Look at all these dinosaurs. Those are the Inchori?
Yeah, those are the Inchori.
Look, there's him fighting with Crook.
Yeah, freaking cool.
Man, Crook is underrated too.
Also, something interesting in the comic series.
Here's Sidious holding a blaster. I'm taking a picture of this.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Maybe he just took it from that Inchori.
It doesn't matter, he's holding it.
That's still cool. Something cool about the comic book is that because Aayla Secura was in it, also, this chick's holding up. There are pink lightsabers in this series.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because of the ink. But Aayla Secura's lightsaber is kind of pinkish. And then the chick that got stabbed to death by Savage Opress's head horns also has a pink lightsaber.
Yeah. This is Stas Ali. She gets killed in Order 66.
Are they not the same one?
They're very similar, but they're different.
They're basically the same person.
They're very similar. There's a cool Doug. There's a Trandoshan. This is just a really cool. Even if you just dig the art.
It's a cool series for creatures.
Like, look at this. It's a Star Wars spoof Star Wars poster from the original Star Wars poster.
They've got the Deveronian. He's holding the lightsaber like Luke. They've got Aayla Secura in the place of Leia.
Yeah. Also, his Master Thulm, is a very, very cool character.
Yeah.
And I remember they used to make Star Wars comic packs where you would get a comic book and 2 action figures, and he comes in one of those, and he has a sick cane. It looks like a cane that like an Egyptian would have from Prince of Egypt.
Oh, something else cool about Quinlan, just to mention in passing while we're talking lightsabers.
Dreads.
He's got a cool, like, hand and a half lightsaber hilt. It's the longest one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's like 25 to 30% longer than your average lightsaber hilt. It's just very cool.
Dude, here's my thing. What is different from a Kifar and a human? Because the tattoos are tattoos.
I don't know. I guess what's the difference between, like, Dathomir females? They look human. They've got the tattoos.
Their skin is white, like chalk. No. This is like...
I don't know. Speak for yourself.
But we'll put a link to this omnibus. Well, I guess there's not really an Amazon link, but maybe there's a Comixology link. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Or we'll at least, maybe we can put a link to the Marvel app for your iPhones in there. And then once you get that, you type in Quinlan Vos. You got to do a little bit of the legwork. You got to try. You got to want it a little bit.
It's pretty easy to find.
But this is just full of cool stuff. We could have walked page by page through here and could have had a cool 3-hour expose.
Yeah, it's just, I remember Josiah got me this was a birthday present one year. I think maybe like my sophomore, junior year in college. And I would have...
one of the best presents of all time. You want to talk about a chill Jedi.
Piece of key lime pie and read.
Got you through some dark times.
Yeah, super chill.
Now, this guy looks like he smokes something. Operaensis, as Blessed Points podcast calls him, Bearded Snake Man.
It's cool that they also flesh out some of the lesser Steen Jedi Masters as well.
Here's a young Plo Koon, it looks like.
Younger, yeah. These are like flashbacks. This is the one where we have flashbacks of Quinlan as an apprentice, and you see him side by side with Obi-Wan. You also get some more Qui-Gon Jinn material, which is, you can always have more Qui-Gon Jinn.
More Qui-Gon is better Qui-Gon. Also, there's a cool, oh my god, hammerhead species.
Ithorian.
Thank you. Wow, I'm going to go home
Knocked it out of the park.
Hurt myself. An Ithorian Jedi Master. Ithorian's maybe my favorite background alien species.
There's a really cool Ithorian Jedi Master
in the original Clone Wars. The 03 2D.
Oh, I was thinking about the one in Path of Destruction. I'm thinking about that book a lot tonight. No, this would have been book 2 because he already had Xana. The one that specialized in battle meditation.
Yeah, that seems kind of like a Sith thing to me personally, but whatever. There's Master Thulm. He's sick. Yeah, so Obi-Wan and Quinlan were same age, basically.
Yeah. It's cool that... I think he's also unique in so much of his canon, or his legend stuff got made canon. That's really cool to me.
What do you mean?
Well, that they pulled on his relationship with Obi-Wan, that they referenced the fact that he served on Dathomir undercover, and he has that close relationship with Ventress in Dark Disciple.
Yeah. He's just a very...
His psychometry. I mean, those are kind of central things to him, but it's cool that
but they could have changed anything.
Yeah.
I think that he's really cool, and I think he's just... he's a character that you can really, really fall in love with, and there's lots of material out there for him, you know?
Which is funny because I guess he does make a decently prominent appearance in the Clone Wars, but it's just 2 or 3 episodes.
And I guess, anything else super crazy before I just tell you a little bit of inside info for Dark Disciple, and then we'll wrap it up?
I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about.
Hey, where was he in Yoda's vision?
He was just in the courtyard talking in the Jedi Temple.
Out and about?
Yeah, just kind of... Well, he was just a backyard
again?
Yeah, backyard again. A background character where I think...
Can we talk about how this should have been in Season 7?
I was voting for it.
Dude, but I think it's 12 episodes.
Yeah.
I think it's a 12-episode arc that was going to have to be made. Dave Filoni, I will pay
you. You could still make it. They could
still do it. Just do it. Just straight to DVD or straight to Disney Plus.
Or just like...
I guess it'd be straight to Disney Plus no matter what.
They do like limited series now, right? So...
Yeah, Dark Disciple series. Dude, that would be sick. Now, one thing that's really cool is this book was written by Christy Golden, who actually got her Star Wars start in the Fate of the Jedi series, which is a pretty good series. Mm-hmm. The bad guy in that series is a creature/woman named Abeloth. Now look her up and tell me your head doesn't hurt after all that information, because she's the mother of the Force wielders from the Mortis arc.
No way.
Yeah,
what?
Look it up. Look it up. Your brain will bleed.
What is she? What?
Just look it up. It's crazy, bro. Look it up.
Spell it.
Look it up.
Spell
Abeloth. Abeloth. It's a very strange character.
I would have spelled it ABA, so I'm glad I asked.
Abeloth. Yes. So Christy Golden wrote it out, right? Because she's obviously a writer.
Right.
But
what was cool is in the foreword she talks about that she had to take the scripts for the concept and really turn that into a novelization.
Now, the writer of the scripts for the episodes is none other than Miss Katie Lucas, George Lucas's daughter. And that's why this is so dadgum magical.
Yeah, it's cool.
She's got it in her blood. Yeah, the midi-chlorians were passed on.
Yeah, the legacy of the Force, as it were.
Oh, that's a great series. 9 books.
Yeah.
Check that one out.
Yeah, it's very well written. It's a very cool story. There's a lot of conceptual stuff. The characters are well put.
It's really cool. It's probably the best Ventress we ever get.
Yeah, I think it's
Where are they
redemption
at?
for Ventress
Where are
in
they?
a major way.
Yeah, for sure. Where are they at whenever he has to go under the water that whole time?
That's on Dathomir.
Is it?
Yeah.
Dude, there's some crazy stuff that goes down.
There's
but it's
some
super
cool
dope.
Force creatures, man.
Yeah, super dope stuff. Quinlan Vos is an awesome character. He goes light, he goes dark, he comes back.
He is the man of extremes. He's either the most chill light side dark character or full-blown darkness.
Yeah, he's very, very... You know what? And if he went full dark and stayed there, maybe he could have beat Dooku.
I don't know. Dooku seemed to subjugate him pretty well.
Dooku is pretty raw.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, y'all are sleeping on my boy Dooku. He could probably have done what Vader did.
He's the opposite of Qui-Gon in the sense that in Master and Apprentice or in Jedi Lost, I can't remember, they kind of bleed together because they came out like 5 days apart. And
I think it was a day. I think it was a day apart. Master and Apprentice dropped, and then because Dooku was just audible.
It was audio only. But anyway, they were talking about Qui-Gon, and he said, you won't find him in the extremes. Like, he's just very chill, very...
Super chill.
Yeah, but more...
Centered
than just...
Okay,
footloose.
So, yeah. Imagine Quinlan Vos, perfected, is Qui-Gon. Except for Quinlan's probably more powerful in the Force, Raw.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Alright, so before we go, Obi-Wan or Quinlan Vos, who has more natural Force ability?
Who's to say?
I'll tell you who it is. It's Quinlan Vos. That's my thought. I really think so. Just natural ability. Obi-Wan is a hard worker, and he is a seeker of knowledge and understanding.
I think
but
that
still,
apprentices are the product of their masters.
Well, in that case, Anakin really screwed over Obi-Wan. It looks like Kira died on the front lines as a Jedi. You're kind of making
along with like the rest of them.
For the rest of them. But here's the thing, is that Obi-Wan, I love Obi-Wan, don't get me wrong, even though Luke's the GOAT. Obi-Wan is still kind of stuck in his Jedi ways, even by Return of the Jedi. When Luke's like...
He is and he isn't. Because he didn't think... He was so far along, though, that he knew it was better for him to die, a la Jesus, and let the Helper come so that he could be a part of the cosmic force.
Yes, for sure. But I
don't see any Jedi in the time of Episode 3 having that foresight, having that presence of mind, thinking that they're not the only one that could do it.
Right. Well, part of it is nobody in Episode 3 had a relationship with the cosmic force, and that was part of their issue. Well, Qui-Gon was already dead. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and he and the cosmic force were like this.
But what I'm saying is in Episode 6, Obi-Wan's like, you gotta confront Vader. He's like, I can't kill my father. And he goes, then the Emperor has already won.
Was he wrong?
Pretty good, eh? No, he was 100% wrong.
He was completely right. You heard it here.
No, what the heck? That's your hot take for the night?
Obi-Wan has never been wrong. He's never done anything wrong. And I love him forever.
Obi-Wan Kenobi has never made a mistake?
Nope, not one.
Wow.
You said it yourself that people are bent to the will of the Force.
What? When did I say that?
You said it earlier when we were talking about the dark side and light side.
When did I say that?
When I just said you said it.
They have a natural bent. That's what I meant. They have a bent.
Yeah.
Natural towards dark, natural towards light. Here's a mistake. Count Dooku says, right now, a Dark Lord of the Sith rules Darth Sidious. And Obi-Wan was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe a thing you say, Dooku. Sidious is a figment of your imagination. It'll take 12 years of war and the slaughter of the entire Jedi Council for me to believe you.
And yet, in the end, Obi-Wan.
Shut up. In the end, Luke Skywalker.
Because Obi-Wan.
Negative. Dude, what if...
Bro, what do you mean negative?
What do I mean negative? What?
Obi-Wan was the reason that Luke even made it half as far as he did. Old Ben Kenobi watching over him on Tatooine, have you even read from a certain point of view?
Yeah, he protected him. That's a good point.
and trained him and sent him to Yoda and let himself be killed.
That's the most important thing, is the sacrifice. But I think Yoda definitely trained. Okay, who do you think was more of a master to him, Yoda or Obi-Wan? That's a really tough question.
I never saw Luke yell out, "Ben!" when Yoda died. He was much more emotionally attached to Obi-Wan, I think.
It's interesting because in Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn, he's talking to Obi-Wan's
He's
ghost
attached
still.
to Obi-Wan.
And
I think he always saw him as his first master, even
Timothy
though Yoda
Zahn,
finished
for
his
sure.
training.
Timothy Zahn has a very interesting take on eventually your connection to the living force is transcended by the cosmic force and you can no longer make contact.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that that's kind of...
I kind of dig that, though, in a way, because it's like, so what's...
I don't, because then what's, like, the point? You know what I mean? Like, the whole point was sacrificing oneself so that you could be more powerful than anyone could possibly imagine.
For sure. I wish we could see that, though. I wish we could have that fleshed out, though.
I'd like to have it.
Yeah, we missed that whenever the concept art for Rise of Skywalker came out, and there was a moment where the ghost of Luke Skywalker is talking to Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren tries to attack the ghost of Luke Skywalker, and the ghost of Luke Skywalker grabs Kylo Ren's lightsaber out of midair and stops it with his freaking hand. He's just holding it like a dadgum popsicle. Now that's power.
We did see Yoda
That's
set
power
a tree
money
on fire
can't...
from the afterlife.
Huh?
I said we did see Yoda set a tree on fire from the afterlife.
Yeah, more impressed with holding a freaking lightsaber with your hand.
I don't know. I've seen Sith create Force lightning. I have never seen a Sith pull it down from the sky like freaking Thor. That's pretty sick.
Snoke did that cool bounce pass. Sith lightning.
Still not the same?
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember.
He was like, Zaza!
I also remember when he let Rey think that she pulled the lightsaber and then knocked her on the back of the head with it, insult to injury.
Snoke was so cool.
He was.
Dude, what was Snoke gonna... I know, okay, at the end of the day, if you're Disney, you have to say, yeah, of course, we always had our ducks in a row. Come on, we've been thinking Palpatine since the beginning. And maybe they were. But I don't think that Snoke is like a clone Poopsiekins was the plan the whole time.
You know who did think that Rey was a Palpatine from day one?
Us.
I
saw this move here.
Oh, yeah. I was sold.
And I was like...
We were literally walking out of the theater and I was like, who'd that look like to you? And I was like, Palps, 100%. She's a Palpatine. And everyone's like, she's a Kenobi. And I was like, no.
She's a Palpatine.
And I stuck to my guns all the way to episode 9. And guess what? She's a Palpatine.
Now, how it would have been raw is if that lady said, Rey who? And she said, Rey Palpatine. And shook that old lady. None of your beeswax. You know that lady's probably 45. She's just been on Tatooine.
2 sons will do that.
2 sons.
Yeah,
I'm not
two
talking about
little rugrats running about. They'll take the life out of you.
2 sons. That's awesome. Man.
They're twins.
They're stupid, bro. Okay. Well,
I guess we should stop. Anyway,
we'll keep going. Quinlan Vos, amazing Jedi, underrated. Can we get a Black Series of him already? What's up with that, Hasbro? A Black Series Quinlan Vos and a Black Series Jar Jar. Por favor. I'll take a 1 of 1. If you don't think it'll sell on the mass market, I totally get it. Just saying. Dude, he would like it, okay? So here's the thing. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so you find out when new videos come out. Tell your friends and family. Tell your leadership, your pastors, your whatever. They need more wisdom all the time. You know what I'm saying? So like and subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Chiss Ascendancy or Chiss Ascendancy Podcast. Look it up. You'll find us. And just remember, may the Force be with you always.
You know what, Josiah? I think sometimes you forget. But you just need to know. The only family you have here is me.
We'll see you guys next week.